press the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss another update.
Hello students, welcome back to your social science class, and today we are going to continue the chapter social and religious reform movements. Okay, so we had discussed about Brahmo Samaj in the previous class. Today we are going to go into Young Bengal movement, which was also started at that time. Okay, that time in the meaning when Brahmo Samaj was started. So we will have a brief introduction to what is the Young Bengal movement, and then we will also see what it has done and further move into Arya Samaja today. Okay. Young Bengal movement. Now, a lot of change was happening. Okay, that is modernization, being modern. Okay, times were changing, industries were growing, and there was a need for change, and that is why we are studying reformation. We are studying reforms. Okay, there was a need for the society to change its thoughts, its behavior, and everything that was related in and around the society, all aspects of the society. So there was something called as modernization that began. Okay, now this started somewhere around in the 19th century in North India. Okay, trying to make the society a kind of a modern society. Modernization. Now we have developed, yet we are developing in certain areas. Certain places have become modern according to the lifestyle, according to their food habits, according to their thoughts, according to their behaviors. Everything has become modern. But in some areas there is still yet to get modern. As we are a developing country, we still are in the process. That is why ing is always put. Ing meaning what? In your tenses, ing is some action that you are continuously doing. Okay, continuous tense, some action that you are doing continuously. That is why you use ing there. So we are developing, and that developing will go on further. But here in the 19th century in North India, modernization, a thought for modernization came. And which was the place, just as in Brahmo Samaj, here Calcutta, here it was the same place, Calcutta. This was the area that they chose for being or making it a modern area. All right. Now, in the 1820s and 1830s, okay, coming closer to the 19th century, there in the 1820s and the 1830s, we have studied that Brahmo Samaj had contributed a lot. Okay. They brought out a law prohibiting sati system in 1829. So it was at that time, 1820s to 1830s. Here the act of modernization was happening in the 19th century. Now, in the same period as when Brahmo Samaj was there, there was another movement called as this Young Bengal movement. Okay. Now, this was started by Henry Louis This was started by Henry Louis Vivian Desrosiers. Okay, Desrosiers. Henry Louis Vivian Desrosiers. So I say it again, Henry Louis Vivian Desrosiers. He started this movement called as Young Bengal movement somewhere around in 1809. It functioned from 1809 to 1831. Okay, this movement functioned there. Now, why he has derived this name? Because his father was a Portuguese okay, and his mother was an Indian. So he was a kind of mix of Portuguese and Indian, so he was Anglo-Indian, okay, a foreigner as well as an Indian, Anglo-Indian. And that is why this fellow Henry is Anglo-Indian, and the name itself suggests, okay, he has mixed it, young, Bengal and movement. So young and Bengal, you can make out his way of dealing and his way of putting in those things there, okay. Now, Derozio served as a professor at the Hindu College in Calcutta, okay. He served as a professor in the Hindu College of, served as a professor of Hindu College in Calcutta, okay. That was from 1826 to 1831. Now his students liked his teaching, okay. Henry's student liked his teaching, and they were inspired by what he wanted to teach them. They were attracted by his teachings, okay, and his students became his followers. So just like you have your favorite teachers, okay, so his students also considered him to be their favorite teacher, and they liked his thoughts, and that's how they started to follow him, and they became his followers. That's his students. Now, as he was an Anglo-Indian, he was also influenced by other European movements that were happening, okay, other European movements that are happening, and he derived those ideas from those movements there. What did he bring in? Okay, he wanted to bring in, let's write it down. Free inquiry in the minds of his students and colleagues. Now, what did he want to do? As I told you, the West was very open to thoughts. The West was a kind of modern that time, okay, comparatively to the Indian society. It was far ahead than what Indian society was, and it is still far ahead than what we are now, okay. The past is speaking today itself, today also. So as he was influenced by those European movements there, he tried to bring in those thoughts. He tried to make people understand that we must have an open discussion. We must be free enough, we must be open enough for any thoughts that are coming. Acceptance is what we need. He tried to tell this to his students and his colleagues, those who were working with him, okay. And as he was a professor there, as he was teaching, he also started to bring out textbooks, okay, textbooks, and he wanted to bring a change in the education system that was there in India. And he started writing textbooks as well as giving his teachings, okay. So his influence as a teacher was very much there with his students. Now, as he was trying to bring a lot of change, okay, as he was trying to bring a lot of change, the people who thought in a very low manner or who were not open to any thoughts, they were like the traditionalists, okay. Or those who had thinkings which are not broad-minded, orthodox thinkings, okay, traditionalist. Even today we have some people who are very traditional. They don't allow you to do many things, isn't it? That's the way it was at that time. It's still now, and it will still go on until that generation passes away. Or because sometimes what happens, it's passed on from family, so that tradition still is alive. It doesn't die off. Okay, certain things that has been thought about in that society, which is tried to be put in the present society also, which is not applicable at all. Okay, you cannot apply what's happened there today. What is happening today, we cannot apply in the future that's coming. So we'll have to change with the society that's changing. Now, as Derrida wanted to bring out change in the education system and the free thinking of the people, these people who were traditionally, who thought very traditionally, who thought in terms of not being broad-minded, they didn't like what he was trying to do. As in, he was trying to create textbooks, he was trying to bring free thought and discussion to people. People didn't like it, especially the traditional followers. But he didn't stop. Henry didn't stop, and he went on to start academic association. Okay, he went on to start an association. Okay, a group of people who are involved into academics, academic association. Now this association was basically created for having debates, to freely think, okay, and they wanted to have a new thinking in Bengal. They wanted to have a different viewpoint, okay, they wanted to have a different perspective, and there were debates here, there were discussions here in this association. Which is that association? Academic association, all right. Now, what did they discuss, or what did Young Bengal movement on the whole discuss? It discussed nature, okay, humanism, God, and various other topics. So what is nature for us? How is nature affecting us? How are we affecting the nature? Humanism, that's values that we have. Human touch that we have to want to or have, or we want to possess. Okay, God. Brahmo Samaj believed in monotheism. Here they have not specified yet, but God was also in picture. How religious things have to be going on. Not focusing on one particular religion, which we do now, isn't it? Saying my religion is the best. The other religions have no value at all. Those who value will value, but those who don't will not. Saying I am the best and my religion is the best, which is very wrong. Everybody has their own way of dealing, they have their own ways of worship, they have their own ways of taking on the rituals. Just allow them, isn't it? Just allow them and you be on your own. That's the only policy, that's the best thing to do. Let them do. And let them allow you to do also. Alright? Now, after this, as he was open to the West, and as he was an Anglo-Indian, he had exposure to the Portuguese thinking and other various ways where he met, and because of his father, he could get knowledge from the other side also, from the Portuguese way of thinking, okay, and the European thoughts which he encountered. Now, what did he do here was, he told them that you have to focus on rational thinking. Logically, you must think on something, okay, not say something that just occurs in your mind as and when you want. No, not like that. He said rational thinking is very important. Now we say, isn't it, human beings are rational beings. Why do we say rational beings? Because we can think. Because we can think, we say we are rational beings, alright. So he said we must think logically, we must think out of the box. We shouldn't be saying that, oh, they can't be doing this, she can't be doing this, she has to follow this rule, or he has to follow this rule. No, that was not acceptable by Henry. He said we must be open, and only then, when we are open to thinking, we can liberate people or make people free from what? Free from discrimination that's happening, okay? Free from superstitious beliefs that are there. But when our thinking is very low, when our thinking is very negative, then discrimination is the highest ranked thing that you can have. Maybe in terms of social discrimination, in terms of caste discrimination, whichever it is, but discrimination on its whole. What is happening? He said if we don't think broadly, if we don't think broad-mindedly, we are still going to believe those unnecessary superstitious beliefs that are there, and on the other hand, we're also going to discriminate people. That shouldn't happen. He said that shouldn't happen. That is why they believed in humanism. People value human values. Value the person who is there in front of you. Okay, that is what they thought. Now, he fought for women's rights also. Okay, and then he opposed caste-based discrimination that was there. Now, in an Indian society, it was very prevalent that time, and it is still there. We have discussed about this. It's still there. It may take a lot of years for people to think otherwise, saying that that's not very important to know somebody's caste or somebody's religion, but know how the person is, that is more important. That kind of realization will come very late in the society, that's the Indian society, because we have the so-called patriarchal society that is there. And patriarchy believes in man being very dominant over the other. See, on a broader view, if you see, most of them have moved on. Most of them know that this is the change that we have to adapt to. This is not the way we should think. Those kind of people they are good. But here and there, one worm will be there in the corner, isn't it? One person somewhere will be there to disturb the whole thing that is there. So caste-based discrimination, those who do caste-based discrimination, people are still there. They still ask you, they still don't want to help you if you belong to a certain caste which they don't like. Alright, so this is still there. So he was fighting for women's rights and he opposed to this caste discrimination that was happening. Now, most of his students who were there, they came from these traditional kinds of families. And it is well said, isn't it? A teacher can always have an influence if his thoughts are good, if his ideas are good and his actions are good. So this person was a very good teacher because he could influence the thought of his students. He could make his students question what is happening in the society. And he turned out to be a good teacher for his students. Now his students, okay, Henry's students were coming from traditional families who were discriminating. People who discriminated, or they had caste discrimination, social discrimination, who believed in the superstitious beliefs, okay. So these families, as they came from those families and when they encountered or when they met their teacher Henry, they were in a different world. They never thought that, okay, this kind of a thing would happen anytime, or these kind of thoughts are also there. They came to know through whom? Through their teacher, and they were very much influenced by his thoughts. And what did they do? They didn't let their teacher alone. They didn't leave their teacher alone to fight, but they helped their teacher and they went on to fight with the teacher. Okay, whenever the teacher was doing anything, they were followers and they supported their teacher in whatever was happening across Bengal. Now, this influence was very minimum to Calcutta, and certain areas of Bengal it focused on, okay, it went on to certain areas. Now, as Henry was teaching as a professor in the college, his colleagues didn't like him because they believed in that traditional way, but he was very open to things, okay. We need more people like that. Actually, we need more people like that who will stand for what is right, who will fight for what is right and not go with the herd. Never go with the herd, student. Even if you're wrong, even if they are wrong and you know it's wrong, you stand and say it's wrong. Nothing is going to happen. People may taunt, let them taunt, nothing is going to happen. Okay, once they know you are strong, they will never come and touch you. They will never come and tell you anything. But you have to be strong on your own. You have to be strong with your words, thoughts and actions as well. Okay, not to fear any time. Here what happened to Henry was his colleagues didn't like him. But he didn't go behind acceptance. Neither should you go behind acceptance. Okay? You have to accept yourself. That is more important. You are important for yourself. Let them accept or let them not accept. It should not matter. It should not matter. I should dress up for myself. I should look good for myself. That should be the thought, okay? Go and stand in front of the mirror and tell, I am beautiful, I am handsome, okay? See how good you feel. Go and do that once you finish the class. Please go and do when you have time, okay? What are you doing? You are appreciating yourself. Appreciation of yourself is more important than others appreciating you. When you feel good about yourself, even if there are 100 people who say negative about you, it will not affect you in any way. Okay, so keep this positivity within you. Now, because of his colleagues, let's come back there. Okay, I stopped. Because of his colleagues there who are traditional, he had to resign from his post and go away. Okay, there were a lot of pressure because he wanted to bring out these broad thoughts that are there. Now, the other teachers who were there working with him, they thought he is spoiling the students. Okay, he is spoiling the students by making them think in a different way. Because all the other teachers or other colleagues of Henry didn't think in that way. So they felt that this fellow is spoiling them, okay, spoiling him and his students as well. Because the same teachers used to teach in that class and the students rebelled. So it is how, see, when somebody is in a dominant post, what is happening? It is only like, you should listen to me. No, it's not like that. For me, it is not like that. It's students or anybody, it's not necessary. You can also have your opinion, isn't it? You can also have your thought. What is needed among us is acceptance. That I accept your ideas, you accept my ideas, and we learn together. That is more important. Not dominating and saying that you listen to what I have to say or you have to take my ideas. No, never. Not like that. Either I do it or you do it to somebody else. We'll all have to be open to understanding and listening to what the other has to say. Here his colleagues felt that Henry was imposing his thoughts on his students and they were being corrupt. Okay, but due to cholera at the age of 22, a very young age, he died. Okay, Derozio died. So this was Young Bengal movement. Now I remember I told you, I'll tell you how to do the story. So go back to, I hope you understood Young Bengal movement, okay. This is an easy lesson I have been emphasizing on from the first part. It's an easy lesson. If you read, you will understand. And today I will tell you how to make the story. Go to page number 46. Okay, we will do for both. I will just give you an idea for both and then you can continue with the other movements, okay. Now, we will write it down. We will do Young Bengal movement first and then we will go to Brahmo Samaj. Okay, I will just give you an idea and you must take it, okay. I can't be doing story for you for everything. You must take your interest and do it. Now, we will do it for Young Bengal movement. I will just say it to you, you listen, okay. In case you are not getting it for the first time, watch it again, alright. Now, maybe all points may not be covered, okay, but I'll just pick out what is important so that important aspects are done in the story and you remember the whole Young Bengal movement. Okay, now we'll begin the story like this. I'll do it for Young Bengal movement, then you apply it to Brahmo Samaj and the others, okay. Now, we'll start like this. In the 1820s and the 1830s, there were a lot of transformation. I'll go slow, okay. I'll go slow. You don't take it down now, but listen first and then watch it again and take it down, okay. I'll go slow. In the 1820s and in the 1830s, there was a lot of need for change. And that change turned out to be a kind of reformation in the society. And as this reformation was needed in the society, new movements started arising. One such among them was Brahmo Samaj. Alongside Brahmo Samaj, there was another little brother of Brahmo Samaj. He was Young Bengal movement, who was headed by Henry Louis Vivian Derizio, or you can say the father of the movement, okay, because he started it. Headed by Derizio. He was an Anglo-Indian, where his father was a Portuguese and the mother was an Indian, and that is why he derived all his thoughts from the West, and he was influenced by the West. As he grew up, he went on to serve as a professor in Hindu College of Calcutta from 1826 to 1831. He was a very influential teacher, where he attracted a lot of his students, his students got attracted towards his teaching and they became his followers. Whenever anything happened, I'm shuffling it, okay, just to get the connection. Whenever anything was being imposed or opposed by anybody, his students stood hand in hand. His students were his supporters all the time. And the colleagues in the college there didn't like what Derizio was trying to inculcate with the students, and they put a lot of pressure to him to resign, and saying that his students are getting corrupt. Rather, when he was not being accepted by the society, yet he wanted to bring out some change in the education system, okay. He wanted to make people think freely. He started creating textbooks. After which, when he wanted to have debates and discussions, he went on to start an academic association where they discussed matters like humanism, God and nature. All this was going on, he emphasized on people wanting to, or people should think broadly. They should have rational thinking, and when they have rational thinking, they won't discriminate in terms of caste or social discrimination, and would not believe in superstitious beliefs. He also was an advocate, or he also fought for women's rights and was against caste discrimination. As he was affected by cholera at the age of 22, he passed away. Okay, so I have just maybe put it bluntly for you. You can make it interesting. Okay, just to shuffle the things here and there. Need not go in order. What is more important? You have to remember the content that is there, not the order of the sentences. The content that is there should be remembered. So for the content to remember, make it like this and read. Okay, need not, all points need not be put into. Pick certain things that are important. Now this story may not have been interesting. Okay, what I told you may not be like any other story which has a moral or which is very interesting. But why I made a connection of these sentences is, when you say that, you remember it. Okay, so this is one way. You can draw pictures and you can draw mind maps and also understand. Okay, so with this we'll stop Young Bengal movement. In the next class we'll head forward to Arya Samaj, and if we can, Prarthana Samaj also. Okay, this is a big lesson. We'll go slowly and we'll understand deeply. That is more important. So you sit and do for Brahmo Samaj also. Okay. Now when we are writing aspects of Brahmo Samaj, okay, maybe write like this in between. Okay. Then you can add like this: monotheism. Okay. Then meaningless residuals, people should live with dignity. So do this when you are doing it. Okay. So alright students, thank you very much for listening. We shall meet in the next class.